Okay, I want to start the county government meeting. First up tonight is human resources.
Hello.
Well, hello. I've seen a lot of you lately.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is an annual resolution that I always come in for. This is our Delta Dental and Emblem Health for our vision and dental services. We always come into a contract that we can have a contract with them for the next year.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Likewise, with our Medicare Advantage insurance plans that we offer for our retirees for 2024.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, so my third resolution is in reference to our, I'm sorry, this is third, I apologize. This is our summer youth transfer. Transferring $32,495.50 out of my budget into the budgets for the individuals that were through the
Move that.
departments.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Perfect. Sorry about that. I have three.
How'd we end up doing on that?
It was okay. I mean, it would have been nicer if we could have done more, but every single youth that we had this year was unbelievable.
Good.
Like the departments were ecstatic with them. They were happy to be there. So they all want to come back next year with the exception of one that graduated. I think they let them do the come back through. So hopefully we'll just be continuing to build the program.
Awesome.
So.
Thank you for that.
No problem at all. And hopefully we'll get that program with Quick Start money next year too. So this is in reference to our current commercial driver's license CDL drug and alcohol testing plan. The way our current policy reads, when this was written back originally in, I think the original resolution was like 1998, and then it was revised to current regulation for August 16th of 2016. We have reviewed it, and what happens is, under a controlled substance, under a second offense, the way our current policy reads is that you are automatically, once an individual is found to have been tested and to have failed, and this includes drugs that otherwise they normally would be able to consume if it wasn't for the fact that of the federal CDL. So what we are proposing to do is that traditionally we would refer the person to a SAP, which is a substance abuse professional, which gets them the help potentially that they may need, but that they rule that out. They actually graduate the person from the program, depending on their situation. And then we usually go to a Section 78 hearing. Unfortunately, it ends in the termination of that person's employment. What we would like to propose is that we would like to offer a difference in this policy, where if an individual meets certain criteria, we refer them to the SAP, and then they are able to retain their employment if they graduate from a certain number or pass a certain number of criteria, and then have a last chance agreement where if there's ever another offense or any problems, they're terminated without Section 75 rights. And the conditions of that would be that from the individual's first offense to the second offense would be more than 10 years has lapsed in there, okay? So certainly if an individual has more than a 10-year term between a first and a second offense, we're not talking about an employee who has some sort of established problem, that the individual will be subject to a minimum of 7 random drug tests from the first offense to the second offense. Within that 10 years, they were tested at least 7 times. The employee is not presently on probation or disciplinary or last chance agreement, and that the second offense is a result of an employee testing positive for a drug that, if not for federal regulation, would be a drug for which the employee would be able to consume.
Is this in line with all the contractual language that
It is, yeah.
we just
Yep.
going through?
Yep, so what would happen is if our CDL policy was revised with this, we would update our others because those are mid from our county. It doesn't change anything else. It's still all the requirement of the substance abuse professionals. It still requires all the testing. The SAP are the individuals who release the liability and release the individual to be able to return back to work.
Move it. Where are they located?
We have multiple SAPs throughout the county. The employee is responsible for contacting the individuals. We supply them with their contact information, and they need to retain the program. They're put out of work immediately should they have a second offense. And actually, the SAP works for the first offense too. So they're responsible. They go into unpaid status. They must graduate from the program depending on the circumstances, and then come back to work.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, thank you
Thank
very much
you.
for your support. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
Next up, elections.
Another name to remember, you know? I'll never forget the set. We've all been sad, haven't we? Uh-oh, double barrel.
Well, you get two for the price of one for an election. So this is the NTS software resolution. NTS is the software that our board uses to run pretty much everything.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it?
Our department is going to need a minivan type vehicle. From 10/27 till at least 11/8, possibly a few days more. We transport election supplies to the early voting site in Kinderhook every day, and it's, they're heavy, it's bulky. It needs to be something that we can easily, put everything that we need in either the back, like an SUV type, minivan type sort of thing, and we are schlepping all the ballot bags and the green cases with the iPads in them and
We have,
multiple things every day.
yeah, we have more than fits in the sedan county car in any way, shape or form that works well for any of the
Have
folks.
you
we
checked
want.
with Jim or Marissa to see what they've got available? Is there
So,
something?
so last election, we borrowed, a van that, Brian from facilities, wasn't using, which in the beginning, we thought would be fine, but it's too, stuff slides around in the back. It just became too cumbersome and it just didn't work out for us. We're trying to be, not to be fussy. Like, we were thankful to have something, but then we ended up not being able to use it. And I have spoken to Jim and, you know, I'm told
No,
that
like on mail career, I have a little minivan.
there isn't, you know, a lot of things, but I thought, you know, if there was maybe a department that isn't using
Right.
something for a short window of time, our budget doesn't really allow for, the cost of renting trucks to deliver our machines, pick up our machines, has gone up and is, pretty much depleted our rental lease line.
How
So
long do you need it for, Cal?
it's
Monday,
it's
yeah.
just about, it's about 14 days.
14 days.
The minivan that we had shared before worked extremely well. So, I mean, I think that was something that we were looking at. The larger van, it was really difficult to secure everything inside because it was just big and empty. And it was also quite a bit more difficult, I think, for some folks to drive.
I wasn't aware that Porsche made a minivan.
I would take that.
Like a Porsche convertible. is what
Porsche
they
does
got,
take
you
a
know.
minivan.
Yeah, well, no, an SUV.
So have you checked, I mean, I started, did you check with Jim this year, to see what's available or? Well, I don't even think it within our fleet. I mean, Jim or Cassie would have a list of where these vehicles are. Can break and, you know.
I didn't ask him specifically right now for that, just knowing that he couldn't get us something last year and that what we ended up being offered was Brian's,
Big van,
van.
yeah.
Aaron and I wanted to bring it to your attention that it is a need. And even when we, you know, had said something last year about, you know, we knew that more vehicles were being ordered and we spoke to Jim and we were told that that the county couldn't get the number of vehicles that they had already wanted. So that there was a shortage and.
How
because we-
expensive can it be for a minivan for 2 weeks?
And I was just online right now looking.
Yeah, I mean,
$700,
to
right?
me, that'd be the way to go.
They ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I just wanted to explore what we had, if anything.
Right, no,
You
no,
know, if
right, if we don't.
And I know.
2 weeks worth.
We've had to rent a big one.
Let me ask
Gotta
you, so what's the ask? You told us your need for about 14 days to have a van. Do
Yeah.
you want the supervisors to search throughout the county to find you a minivan?
I got a calling, man. They've got cabinet chairs and I can let you use that.
That's here every day.
Right, there you go. Yep.
Seats come out, they point right down.
So if he needs a minivan, very simple. If we can't come up with one, she's gonna have to rent one, correct? I don't think we need a.
That's why, if there isn't one available
But
within the
it's
county,
saying it's
then
not in their budget.
I understand that.
So get a price from Enterprise and see what it would be,
Man.
right?
Right on it.
It's looking on it right now.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm looking for pricing, but it doesn't have pricing.
You have to call. It's kind of expensive.
Yeah,
It's probably a couple $100.
couple $100 a day.
or got the one that they're like a mail carrier. one
Yeah,
that we
it's,
use,
it's
so,
pretty expensive.
You know, even if we had to use Ryan's or, you know, we do have one within facilities, but.
So what I get, General, like, she can have one, we just gotta figure out how we're gonna get one. That's all. I don't think we need a motion to,
Right, I didn't know how to make a motion
Right.
on that. Let's talk to Jim initially, and then we'll see if we can locate something existing and or if
Okay,
we have to rent something.
great, okay. We also have,
Because we've been looking at like moving things, and like U-Haul has all different sizes of vans and vehicles they can rent. I don't know how much they are, but we've been looking into smaller ones to do some moving for our daughter, and I know they have smaller vehicles, not those big trucks, they have like vans and.
I'm pretty sure this county has some vans.
Yeah,
we'll find one for you.
I think they're the one that.
Whatever girls.
Courier service there all the time, it's a nice little transit or something.
Yeah, I see,
You know,
I see some unmarked with county plates. I
Right.
don't know what they're doing with it, but
that's facilities, I think that they're just running mail stuff around, but. And if they had to use a bigger one for a week, maybe they can, you know.
so last week, we,
Okay.
started, the process for being completely on our own server. And it's been a bumpy ride, but we're getting there. There's a few other small bumps in the road, but,
Yeah, I think so. 3 years ago, the state mandated with cybersecurity regulations that we had to be entirely isolated from any county network. So we have internet, everything, it all has to be on its own. We've switched over NTS, our voter database system, and our internet. We still are struggling with a number of firewall issues. Ryan from MIS and the rest of MIS has been great. But there are quite a few bumps that I think we're still figuring out. But as of this time, we are in compliance, which is really great. It's been a huge deal across the state for all the boards. So it's nice to be able to say that we're finally achieving that goal, and MIS has been really excellent in helping us be able to do that.
How are the firewall issues impacting or preventing you from doing work?
So we aren't able to get a lot of remote assistance that we used to be able to get because there are firewalls blocking it. Some of those are for very good reasons, but they are permissible within election law. And it is one of the ways that if we have any issues with any of our vendor systems, that they are able to assist us. The other thing is that it has slowed our Gmail and all of our email, our Google document storage, which is the way that MIS would prefer that everybody be working, down to a creeping halt. And so that part of it is really challenging, along with little stuff like we used to be able to do big scans of like petition packets and other things on our Rigo copier system. And now we can't get those files out of it because the system can't email a file that large. So, yeah, but I think all of those things, we've been working on
state
them.
system, isn't it?
We continue to do it.
no, it's
Private?
just,
Or subcontractor?
the server that we're on,
We own it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the
But-
MIS built it
But it
for
was
us.
state mandated,
Yes, it was state mandated.
and they didn't have guidelines of the equipment.
They
Yes.
do have guidelines of equipment and other things. One of the real challenges to meeting the deadlines was supply chain issues over the last 3 years. And MIS has actually done a great job trying to cobble us together a good system.
I get it. In our garage, we were mandated to have a new inspection machine by last year. I've owned it for a year and a half, and keep getting a letter
You haven't seen it?
every month. Now, every month they said, do not, try to fire that thing up yet. We're not ready.
Mhm.
So I do believe it.
And we don't have access to the public drive. So, that's another thing that MIS is working on. And, so if I email you and ask you for documents or something, that's why.
And the schooling's going good? I see you had a class the other night.
Yes, very good. Very good.
Good, enough people volunteered to do it?
Yeah. We do pay them I feel like we pay them pretty well.
Okay.
We do. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ladies. Next up is, planning.
Increases monthly resolution.
Right? I'm sure you do the whole
Next year, you got to do them for the climate smart committee too, so,
Yep.
already have one of them for you.
I have one too. So you're number two. Okay, so this is for the EMC appointment for the city of Hudson, Michael O'Hara.
I'll move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Great, thank you.
Love that.
That might go get too far along.
Next up is county clerk. What'd you say about time?
Yeah, so you're doing a fabulous job, Mr. Chairman.
That's what I heard.
Okay, so I do have a resolution to abolish one vacant motor vehicle cashier position that is budgeted, one records clerk position that was filled but is now vacant, and one vacant pistol permit examiner for a savings of $135,000. And then also thereby create and fill one index clerk position, which is a grade 11C, create and fill one senior index clerk position, grade 12A, and fill one vacant records management coordinator position, which is vacant due to a resignation.
Move it.
No, it's still like a $40,000 savings.
It is, yes, it is. So it's not only budget
The
neutral,
only
it's
question I
budget.
have is, every time somebody brings in abolishes something, creates, who picks up the work that previous
So
individual?
we did, that's a good question. We did do a shifting of some job duties within the office. So it kind of stemmed from the resignation. that
Nothing
took place
grievable,
at
right?
325. No, because titles aren't changing and salaries aren't changing. It's just, it's all within the scope of the job description. It's just, we have pistol clerk, but she's a senior index clerk, but she does pistol permits. And then we have somebody who does civil judgments, but she's a senior index clerk. So then we have somebody who does, notaries and blah, 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 all the different little tasks within the office, but it's nothing grievable. No.
Sounds good.
Like I'm not putting anyone from the clerk's office over to DMV because that would be different. And that would be grievable. Now, this is all within the scope of the job. But
So I
good
have a
question.
motion. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I got the heads up at point one, so sorry.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kelly, for slipping this in. So I did have, I've been in discussion, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but we don't take credit cards in the clerk's office. And it becomes an issue and for two reasons. When people are doing a passport, you have to have two forms of payment and like two checks. Because one check gets mailed with the passport to the US Department of State, and then they also have to pay us. So a lot of times that runs into an issue. Because they don't know that they need two checks. But people don't carry checks anymore. They carry credit cards or debit cards. And then also too, we get a lot of phone calls from people who are looking for stuff. Searching my father who lived in this house for, 50 years ago, and I want to see the deed, blah, blah, blah. So if we do this, so this is an authorization to enter into a contract. County Attorney's Office got back to me today and they said it's fine, the contract, they reviewed it with this Gila LLC, which is a DBA Municipal Services Bureau, to provide credit card payments. And I do have the agreement here if you do want to see it. So they do charge, and this has all been vetted by the state. There's a state contract and other county clerk offices use them. They do have a fee list, but it goes right to the customer. We don't have anything to do with that. We get the money that we get automatically. But if you want to see it, it's that. It's standard fees.
Have
It's actually
you
cheaper, I think. than
Discuss
some of
this with PJ. I know that there was some talk a while ago, and we're taking credit cards at solid waste, but it's been a total disaster, and they were trying to get
them. Is it
change
not that
companies.
company? Is it that company?
I don't think so.
Oh,
but they were gonna do an RFP to do another company, but we were in a contract with somebody we couldn't get out of or
We
something.
talked with the, because doesn't the treasurer's office take care of that
Yeah.
too for?
Yeah, so it was the same one as the
And we
treasurer's
did not
office.
do that
and-
because we weren't comfortable in my office with that vendor. But
Okay.
this vendor has been around for a while and he's been to our conferences. His name does not sound all that applicable for being comfortable with. His name is
I can
Larry.
just share it
His
with you
name is
guys so
Larry
that we
Crook.
know.
The vendor's name is Larry Crook. But it's all legitimate, I swear.
He's good.
He is, he's very good. It's hysterical, but I don't know if you want to see that, those are the fees. But, I did not talk to the treasurer, no, but
Yeah, I'll follow up with him too. I don't know where we were with that. That was a
Yeah.
while ago, but
you
we
should
were
look into
having
this.
an
It
issue.
seems pretty seamless.
It's
for DMV.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was doing
Yeah,
that.
DMV
We
is
have to
state,
do
we
that.
take care of
But
that.
it was just
Is
the
the
card
post office.
company, the machine wasn't working and couldn't get a new machine and then there was updates, you know.
3 machines, because we have 3 terminals.
Yeah,
Cause it'll go to,
it'll go to finance. Okay, yeah.
I'm looking, they move it ahead, if finance
I'll
wants
move
to
it.
keep the detail of the
Second,
deal.
yeah, I'll check it and
Yeah.
anyway.
I'm happy with it. I'll move it.
Oh, I know. I gotta move it in a second already. I need-
Thanks,
we were
Greg.
talking-
I need all in favor.
Second.
Aye. There you go. There you go.
Thank you very much. I would ask now for a special permission to enter executive session to discuss something personal, if you don't mind. Can I do that?
Can we-
You wanna wait till
Can we
we?
just do
we got-
Adam quick?
we got
and
one
then-
more second.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll be quick.
Discuss personnel or personnel?
Personnel
Okay.
Okay,
and personal.
so this resolution is seeking permission, for myself and our promotion specialist to attend a consumer travel show at the MGM. It'll be, October, end of October.
And they're called the energy center.
Cost is $17.15 and it's covered under our, matching funds.
I'll move it.
Second.
I'll go. All in favor?
I'll go.
You need a gas?
Oh, they used to do that.
Need extra cash?
Yeah.
You need a van? Get there?
I won't ask. I already know the answer.
Anybody got anything else you want to bring from the board? Okay, I need a motion to go to executive session. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye.
All right, see you guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, folks, I'm gonna call this September 2023 Public Works to order, and up first we have Highway Department. Tony was quick or organized, or his staff was, I'm not sure.
I thought I was waiting for me this month and I still ended up.
Oh.
Hey,
Brought my glasses.
Oh, the COVID check.
I got next.
I sent an email out to the supervisors. I did, tell them 50. Yeah, 10 to 50, 8 to 10. No, I said 500.
Still doing, pipe installations, clear and brush, roadside side maintenance. Hot mix patching is still going on. We're hoping to make it to the end of the month. We've had some issues with our plow trucks. Out of the 7 or 8 that we've had, I think we currently have 1 that's operational. So we've been having a lot of equipment issues with that. Sandblasted and painted plows, painting stop bars and crosswalks. Bank stabilization project at County Bridge 47 on High Bridge Road in Chatham. Oh, yeah, so nice to hear that. Yeah, it's been a long time coming for that. It's a matter of getting to it. Quite a bit of storm cleanup. Center line and edge line pavement marking finally got underway and is still ongoing. And we completed 52,000 feet, about 9.8 miles of shoulder reconstruction on County Routes 19 and 2 in the towns of Livingston and Claremont, and paving should have started today. Yesterday or today, paving should have started down there, so that'll be ongoing. Personnel, we terminated 1 auto mechanic that was in his probationary period.
Oh,
And what's that, Kat?
I just said,
No new business. Well, yeah, new business. I do have one thing. I guess it would be new business, but it came in after the, after I got all the stuff in. I don't really remember, we talked about, getting prices on a body for one of the trucks that we have where the body was shot. but the truck was still in good shape. It's one of our 2008s, I think. We did get a price on it, a price of $71,995. That's for the body, everything that goes with it, lights, hoses. The issue we're gonna have is, I don't believe that's something I can purchase out of chips. I don't think I can purchase just a dump body. So my intent is possibly to, I don't have the money this year to do it, but maybe it's something we look at, after the first of the year, that could come out of the vehicular equipment line if we have to sacrifice, another piece of equipment. But I think we're gonna have to do this, because of, we still haven't gotten our trucks that we ordered a year and a half ago, so. And it's been one breakdown after another. They're all really starting to go, so. I
Is this
think,
one of the ones that we bought on the state data series
I
ago? or-
think, yeah, I think it was one of the ones on the state contract.
Yeah.
And the truck, the cabin chassis itself are in good shape.
Okay,
The body was the issue, all the cross members were
Yeah.
rotted out. And it's, it was one of the state trucks, so all it did was use salt.
highway, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and you can clean them as much as you can, but it gets up. The design of this one was a little different than what they've changed to. It was more of a closed design where stuff would get in and wouldn't get out.
So how long does it take to get that?
A few weeks. Yeah, I think it's 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah, yeah.
Stainless steel,
Yeah.
okay. So this will-
forever on Henderson bodies, I think.
Yeah, we went up to Frank's Wax and, he said, no, 5 to 6 weeks, because we thought.
So let me ask you this, I mean, we've got money, I don't think you've got equipment here tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
That's reflecting that budget. Is that
Yeah.
reflecting things that are ordered, or is that?
No,
if you were-
that's reflecting,
I mean, are you gonna physically spend that money this year, or can we spend
yeah,
some
well,
of this year's money and then put one of the purchases that you've got ordered into next year's?
that's absolutely something we could do. Is that something that we can, change tonight in a resolution? Well, what I don't want to do is, yeah, we could put it off another month, but I think maybe, I have no problem taking one of these pieces of equipment out. And,
I think you're running out of time.
and that's
agree with
the
you.
thing,
That's what I'm
Is this
saying.
one of the plow trucks that you need for the winter?
Yes.
So you're already down 7, right? They're not running, is what you're saying.
Right,
You got
yeah,
one
they're
running.
for
So they're
various
gonna work
reasons,
on them, and now you're
yeah,
telling me
so-
this one's gonna be down no matter what unless we get a body. I think it's a no-brainer.
Right.
You gotta
We
do
rolled
something.
through the October storm of 1987.
But you've got a 550 on here at $94,000, if you could put that off.
Yep.
The only thing is, what happens if one of his orders shows up early?
That's
Well, this is an order,
Yeah, this-
right?
No, this stuff isn't order. These are resolution requests that are.
These are
coming
new
to the-
resolutions,
coming to
yeah.
the committee tonight, so. not
But that's another question, is you haven't taken any money out of that account for something that's,
No,
ordered.
the number that,
yeah, because you just says you got,
whatever it says there that we still in that.
It's also the same
account.
price as the general fund.
there you go.
Real nice.
But yeah, I mean, if you could hold off on the 550, you could
Yeah.
use that
I didn't mean
money.
to be
Yeah,
careless.
yeah.
In fact, that would save us $20,000.
Yep, yep.
You did good though.
Yeah,
And then you could order that this
right,
year.
and that was actually one thing that I was gonna discuss, if that was.
Did you get multiple bids on that? Do you need
It's,
to?
no, it's Onondaga, it's off Onondaga contract.
Okay.
In fact, the price, would be $102,850. The Onondaga bid, which is 0010914, is a 30% discount, so that's like $30,855
Okay.
taken off of that price.
Yep.
Going off the Onondaga bid. That's the same
77,000.
bids that we buy the trucks off of, it's on Onondaga.
I'll make a motion that you can go.
All right, well,
I'll-
we'll get to that resolution and then we'll,
Yeah, and then I could do a
Let's amend
resolution request and send it.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, wait till you get to that one and then we'll.
We'll amend
roll
that
in
one.
there.
All right, so first resolution request is authorization to fill one vacant budgeted auto mechanic position in the highway department.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Second one's to abolish one MEO one position and create and fill one skilled laborer position and any vacancies therefrom in the highway department. They're both the same grade.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And the third one is to fill one vacant budgeted assistant general foreman position and any vacancies therefrom in the highway department.
Move it.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And number 4, is authorization to declare the following vehicles surplus equipment and sell them at our line auction. Highway number 4, which is a 2011 pickup, and highway number 14, which is a 2006 Chevrolet pickup.
Move that, move it on.
Yeah.
You sure you want to get rid of the dump
Yeah, you want
trucks?
to mothball the big ones?
Yeah, that dump truck has actually been being used for parts for the last 2
Oh,
years.
okay, all right.
There's not much left to it. We've kind of vandalized it.
Okay.
Yeah, what we did, when we were having trouble with trucks, when we would replace them, once they were completely unserviceable, we park them on the hill and then just,
Still,
when we need parts, use
So
parts
you have a
from them.
motion?
Do they buy them at auction or is that something you just torch cut and send?
No, they buy them.
For the rest of the parts.
Yeah, for the rest of the parts.
right?
Yeah.
So I have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Selling the surplus vehicles.
And then the last one is the one for the purchases of the equipment, 2024 pickup truck from Van Border Ford off of Onondaga for a cost not to exceed 61,000, and then the 550 crew cab. which
So what we
is-
want to do is drop the 550 crew cab and switch it to a body
Yep.
from Zwack.
All right, so we're gonna do the first one, right, the Ford F-250.
Yeah, we'll keep the
And
pickup
then-
on there.
And then what are we doing? We're purchasing body for, what did you say, 2008? 2008
Yeah.
dump truck,
For 71,995.
71,995.
Yeah,
What
give you
about the
the-
rest of the upfitting?
That's all included. It's the hinge kit, the spinner. It uses the existing body hoist, which is in good shape. All the lights, tarp, sail bar, mud flaps, belly flap, blast frame, hydraulic lines, stainless steel hydraulic lines, and complete installation of all miscellaneous components is all included in that price.
So it brought it to 102,850.
No, it's not.
That was the list.
That would be,
price, more or
that
less.
would be the price.
was
No, no, that would be the price if we didn't go off a bid. Yeah, it's a $30,000 discount using the Onondaga bid.
He'll have to get that bid number to Kelly, but.
Yeah, I'll
Just
do a
revise
whole,
the-
yeah, I'll do 2 separate resolution requests.
Well, you can do it all in one.
You can do it all, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Just like you got it, but just drop
But I
the
just have
Ford
one
and.
vehicle and replace the other.
Probably should edit the reason for request for that motion anyway, 'cause this is termination, this is purchase, right?
Let's see, these.
No,
are replaced with
reading it.
existing.
I'm reading it incorrectly. I'm
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it still counts.
so you need a motion,
Yes.
so move.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright. I
That's
think that's
it,
it. right?
That'll get another truck back on the road before winter, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
We'll have 2.
yeah, and he actually has, a body and everything in stock that's
Okay.
ready for our cabin one of our cabin chassis.
Right, okay, I
So
get
he
you.
said he could put that on this truck. And
Get
at
the
that
other one
time,
in
order
time.
the stuff for the new truck, and by the time the new truck comes in, he should have it.
Great,
So it all works on paper.
yeah.
And Tony didn't mention in his report that he came out to Copac and did some great work on the Hamlet, so we're waiting. He was gonna have it in
Oh, yeah.
2024 and then it got.
Yeah.
I didn't personally come out to
No, no,
Copac.
but I.
Just
You get the credit,
I
though.
personally thanked him on
He did.
Facebook.
That's right.
People in Copac.
Bill Gregory made sure I saw it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, right.
I was happy, yeah, it was very good. We appreciate it a lot.
You're welcome. And
Tony, how do you feel about speed bumps on town roads?
I think it's a terrible idea.
So I need
I think they're actually illegal, aren't they? Didn't I find that out? You can't do it on a public. you can
Attorney
do it-
General actually made a ruling about Montgomery County, because I think they wanted to do.
Is that right?
That they shouldn't be having them on.
I thought you couldn't put them on a public
That's gonna
road.
be dangerous.
I was gonna say, who's liable for it? Who's liable? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
If it causes an accident on a town road.
We've had requests.
I mean, no, it's just have a lot of pressure from the hamlets, and they're saying, why don't we put speed bumps?
Yeah,
I have the same thing in my town.
I had them too recently.
That's why we have state police, call state police.
Isn't that right, like for plowing? That's gotta be.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
And they're finding out that speed bumps actually increase emissions, because cars are braking and accelerating and braking. There's all sorts of stuff. But
And
I
air
said,
pressure.
people
Who's
say,
liable for the damage when a car hits it too fast? And
oh yeah, you're totally.
That's what
liable.
I'm saying.
If they hit it at the speed limit and that causes an accident, then
Yeah.
you're really in
Yeah,
trouble.
yeah.
Yeah, I had talked to Jeannie because you had them on Golf Course Road down there, but they weren't that's not a town road, so that was a private.
The private road.
But they ground those now, I see.
Not,
Been up there?
not enough.
One by the golf
Not
course?
recently.
One up to the golf
Yeah,
course?
they're still
Yeah,
there.
the-
Yeah, they ground the tops off, so now they're not that high. They're
Well, they were rubber ones there years
Yeah,
ago.
they ground half of the top off.
Oh, okay.
It's a little balloon. I know, because I've been over. So
Yeah.
Now
I
I
haven't
go
been down
fast.
there.
On the other hand, when you leave the bar, that wakes you up on the way out.
Okay.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna quote Anthony DeMarco.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
I
night
know.
at the town board.
Sure, sure. Then they'll start calling me.
Right, yeah.
No, it's not on, it's
I don't
not on,
think that's a
it's
town
not on
issue.
13, it's on Albany Turnpike, so you're.
The town can do it if they want to, right? I don't care.
I just told him the other night, there's more than one. All right.
All right, any other questions for Tony?
I didn't mean to equivocate an employee to a piece of equipment, I apologize.
I don't know the answer.
I thought it was a good analogy, though.
Technically, it might be the same.
Right.
All right.
All right, facilities is up next. I gotta find these resolutions.
You're getting there.
I know, I can't see no.
Brian's only second because Joanne, because of Joanne.
I know. It's not me, believe
Brian would have been
me.
down this morning.
Yeah, I know. Can I think about this now?
You doing resolution or report?
I think.
Report.
I'll breeze through it.
Okay,
I'll whistle.
Down at 325, for the health department, we put in a vaccine UPS. This way, in the event of a power outage, that will hold it up to, I think we have it posted like 6 to 8 hours of what the equipment is on there. So if the generator doesn't work, we have time. So works out pretty good. Let's see, 401, repaired some lights in the storage room and then the outside perimeter lighting, cleared some of the tree limbs around the light. 610, we moved the family of Woodstock to their new location.
Is that a new location in the county building?
No, it's, their own, rented site. I believe it's out by, ShopRite. So now that there's a empty office up there for now.
They're not coming back, right?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, so if anybody calls and asks, then it's, once in a
Yep.
while we get a call.
Okay, yeah, there, I believe it's, somewhere right between the old Walmart and, ShopRite.
That's for sale in that building.
Yeah. Let's see, near pothole repair at public safety building. We got our new mower in finally. So
Now
down
it's fall.
yeah.
Tony will get snow truck or plow truck in the spring, we'll
Oh,
be good.
it comes with that, we'll be able to do the leaves, so.
Okay, maybe you can plow roads, snow with them too, I don't know.
Let's see here, fire train, we're mounting plywood on the walls for the TV and the TVs.
They actually did see a guy bolt a plate to a zero turn and was plowing with
Yeah,
it.
right, yeah.
Hey, you never know. Let's see here, on the highway, had some problems at some of the outposts, roof leak at Copay, who took care of the outpost, switching the bathroom. Solid waste down at the Hillsdale Operator Shack, we've been redoing them little by little, so I believe that one's done and we're on to Galveston now, so hopefully we're gonna try to finish it before the end of the year. Water and sewer, during that storm, we lost power for a while. That generator specifically ran for probably almost close to 3 days intermittent. Came down to a bad transformer also, and then one of the CTs in the cabin might, so they're metering it right now for me. I should get next week, I should get the report. So we might have to work on there, but we'll see. Is that for water, Brian, or sewer? That's the sewer, yeah. The new line we put in? That's the, Really? like, it's all, yeah, it's nothing ours, it's.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's
not ours, it was put in,
Yeah.
that's how I was wondering,
No.
because it's laid out.
It's actually
Theirs.
from the power company.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
transformer on there.
Alright.
So the issue is that it may be sending us dirty power.
Yeah, which the CT cabinet, there was a problem, they had a little bit of temperature difference on one, so that's why they put some kind of recording device to, and they're gonna let me know. So, but like I said, it was basically nothing, you know, on our end, so to speak. It was all from the power outage and, you
And the
know.
generator works, so there you go.
It stayed run, you know, we actually had to call in to come in and fill it up.
Yeah.
You know, I think, was that Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, just to keep it going, because then I had them on site Sunday, and we were there with them for a while. Then it was a crew from, I think, New Jersey, wasn't even NYSEG, so they said, well, we think it's a transformer. They replaced it, and we still had problems, so I had to wait the following day till I had someone from NYSEG to come out and look at it.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the generators did, you know, they did their job, especially that one. So.
We put a generator in our town hall right before the storm, and I was kind of bragging about it a little bit, but when they never filled up the tank, so thank God that was. It's all dark, I'm like, yeah, I'm an asshole.
My automatic transfer switch circuit board broke and they can't get a new one, you know, it's lovely. But,
It happens, an oversight.
right,
I was like, it's okay, everybody, we have a generator.
right. Well,
Then I got some resolutions.
while you're on reports, Brian, before I forget it, I did have people ask, what is the new Rubbermaid building for out here and our thing in the stairwell out here?
Just to do some storage for, we're gonna try to get like a lawn, you know, some, snow blower and
Okay.
stuff like that. Because what happens is when, you know,
I first thought you were putting garbage in. I mean, I know there's always garbage in the hallway.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's,
well, luckily, like I said, now that the you know, we got the new dumpster, that should stop except for the recyclables.
Okay.
But now every storm, we'd either have to try to plan ahead and get the snow blower down here because we can't leave it in the building. And it's just a nightmare trying to get it back and forth by the time we're plowing. I only had one truck to transport it to, and if that went down, then, you know, we would have been borrowing a truck and stuff. You know, I mean, one time I think we used my personal truck to get them, you know, so, but.
I just didn't
that's
know
why-
what it was for. So.
Yeah, that's why we're trying
Somebody
to,
asked me the other day.
because that's what we did at 325 too, and it worked pretty good. We used
Okay.
that as the first one because we were having problems, you know. 'Cause like I said, once they go in the building, everyone complains about the gas smell, and technically we're really not supposed to do it, so.
Yeah.
This will help us out. Plus, we'll be able to store a salt in there too, instead of in the front hallway where it's a mess. So that's basically why.
Okay.
We tried to figure out a spot over there, but we couldn't really find a good spot because of the entrance of the door. So that's why that was the only really spot we could put it.
There goes our elevator.
I know. Ray will take care of that. Don't
Yeah.
worry, you know.
That's easily, hey, that's easily.
Another project, you know.
Yeah, worst comes to worst, we put in the parking lot in the corner.
Right.
You know?
What, the elevator?
No. Yeah.
You're tough getting-
So I have request authorization to enter into a new printer copier scanner rental lease agreement with Repeat Business. We have a computer at the shop, and that's where a lot of the work orders get shot through for the morning, you know, and then this way Joe can print stuff out and have everything set through, you know, the computer. That's why we're trying to get something out there.
I'll move it.
Motion and second, all in favor?
And the next one is authorizing award the bid for Spartan Chemical Dispensal and Rental Cleaning Supplies.
Move it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Now, what kind of training time do you need? Says minimizing training time.
For hand cleaner, apparatus, or?
For the,
Just for the,
for that? I just to read like the SDS sheet, basically.
Sounds good though, doesn't it?
yeah, really solid it up.
That's my JoJo. So. That's it for me. Any questions?
Questions for Brian? If not, we'll move on to engineering.
Evening, everyone. We'll start off with the bridge program. Stuyvesant Falls Bridge, we had conducted the project kickoff meeting for that, so that was a requirement of New York State DOT. Again, we already have the consultants under contract.
consultant currently is working on a proposed schedule. One of the key components associated with that will be coordination and consultation with New York State Office of Park and Recreation because of the historic nature of that particular structure. So as I get that developed, obviously I'll be in touch with Supervisor Knott regarding town of Stuyvesant, because I know that there'll be a lot of public input.
Yeah, especially during election year, you know.
It's gonna remain one lane.
We don't know
Yes,
that yet.
we believe that that's the case, but again, we still need to explore that option.
It'd be nice if it could be one lane, but a little wider. That would be the nice thing, but I don't see it.
Yeah, a little wider, then you get cheaters.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
Stall Bridge, that's located down on Pleasant Vale Road. So, as I reported last month, we had public informational meetings with the town of Claremont and town of Livingston at their town board meetings, and reviewed the proposed project with the general public. During that time, we had gotten quite a few comments about the nature, although it's not a historic structure, it is eligible as far as the truss. And although New York State has already signed off the fact and recognizing that it is a loss and that we are going to be doing documentation on it, the residents wanted to see if there was any way that we could incorporate the use of the truss components as a non-structural member on the bridge. So that way, at least aesthetically, you would still see the truss. So I went back to the consultant, discussed the opportunity of reutilizing those. Consultant came back with an estimate saying, or number one, confirming that yes, it can be done. However, the cost increase would be about $500,000 to get that done. My recommendation.
Go back to those residents.
No, my recommendation is not to move forward with that.
But I admire your diplomacy, willing to be, I mean, I made a joke, what are you trying to save money at one of our last, but.
Again, when we're looking at $500,000, it's quite a significant amount. And again, that's the initial cost. And
And
with
there's
any
maintenance of it.
trust, there's a lot of maintenance. Even though it's not structural, there'll still be maintenance associated. My recommendation to the committee is to not move forward with that. And again, continue with the route that we were heading, which was a single span, multi-girder, concrete deck structure, again, more modern.
I just asked if you spoke to Jimmy and Ray from nearest respective towns.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So I was hoping that Ray was going to be here.
Yeah.
My apology, I didn't know that he was not going to be here as far as the supervisor. I did indicate the cost, and he had indicated he understands that, and his opinion is that that's just too much money to be spent on that structure. So what I'd like, I don't need a resolution, but at least if I could have a motion concurring with the recommendation, and what I'll do is I'll formally document that and send a letter out to both town boards. So
I'll
that we
move
can-
to concur with your.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Ray, they weren't interested in paying for it for you?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Never the case. As many times.
They said
as I
Barbara
offer
could
that-
put the bill, though. I don't know. You know.
As many times I'm offering and mentioning that, I'd love to have donations or something like that. I never have any takers.
towns can split.
Kippy's got one of those.
So that being said, the development of the contract documents continues. Right now, we're hoping to advertise middle of October as far as the bid opening in November. So that way we can go to committee at the end of November and have full board approve the bid if it comes within budget in December.
This is for the Stall Bridge.
That is for the Stall Bridge, right? And the anticipation would then be materials could be ordered and they could hit the ground running come March, April timeframe as far as springtime, which would be great. And if that happens, then it could be completely constructed and back in service by the end of 2024.
That'd be
And that
great.
is the goal. And again, keep in mind, that particular project, and the reason that it's being, if you would, fast track, that's completely funded by county
It's our
funds.
money, yeah.
Yeah, not state. We'd never be able to do it that quickly if we were utilizing.
And that's a very long detour for.
It is a very long detour.
Highway Fishing Game Road, County Route 18, contractor is going to be performing the cold in place pavement recycling the week of September 25th. Once that is done, and again, there'll just be lane closures during that time frame. Once that's done, then they'll have to wait approximately 10 days for a curing period, and then they can place the final top course. Right now, we are anticipating that the complete project would be done by the end of October. with some odds and ends as far as maybe some dress up work in the shoulders. But other than that, it should be complete.
All the trees and bushes and everything, everybody's happy with? What?
We don't know if
They'll be
we're
done.
happy.
Are we happy? That's all we care.
Yes, we are.
All right, that's fine.
I'm working on the final details to get back to that one property owner that had a question of, changing out some of the vegetation that's going to be planted. So I'm just waiting on the,
It's up to you, buddy.
I'm just waiting on the cost to come back from the landscape contractor. Other engineering 911, we originally were gonna have a meeting this week to go over some of the final documents for the construction of that particular project. I put that off an additional week, or the architect just needed some additional time to work out some of the details. So we're going to be meeting with the 911 team on that. Hope is to then go out to bid in October timeframe. DSS building, Centrica anticipates the replacement of the boiler system starting the week of October 17th. We've been going back and forth with them for some time because obviously we want to try to get those boilers in prior to the main heating season, but we're going to be on the cusp of that in that October timeframe. So we think that we may be able to move forward and just have a very short outage of a day, maybe two, during that time. But we are going to keep
You should
track.
be able to rip out most of them boilers and leave one there and.
That's what we're
live
doing.
along, yeah, right. Yeah.
That is exactly what we're doing. And again, air handler will still be operable as far as circulation and things of that nature. Really, it's just if we happen to get a very cold evening and it would just be chilly first thing in the morning, but with the number of employees, the latent heat would pick up,
right,
and it would just be a chill for an hour or two. But we're going to wait and see what happens as far as the weather as well. But there may be an outage for about a day or two. And they are going to do a temporary flue, so that way we can keep some of the boilers up and running. Okay. DPW garage, the roof-mounted solar array has been installed. Contractors just completing the installation of the final wiring and panels. There will be a one-day shutdown on Saturday, September 30th. So that'll be roughly 8 hours. We are going to reach out to some of the agencies that use the fuel farm, so that way they can make sure that they top off on Friday, and that fact that they're going to be aware that they won't be able to get any fuel on Saturday.
And did you say there was a concern over going online to the grid? Was this the project where National Grid had a number of projects?
No, that's
that was
the
DSS.
DSS.
That was DSS, and the issue there was that limited the size of the array.
Right, that's
We-
right.
We had to reduce the size of the array because of the infrastructure. The grid infrastructure was not able to take that on.
So do we have a date as to when we think that'll be fully operational, or right after the 30th?
It'll probably be a week after the 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll do the transfer, and then we'll have someone come down and actually do the final
Switch.
walkthrough and do the switching.
Ray, what's the company that's doing this?
Centrica? Airport, Colaruso's on site. They're performing the asphalt rehabilitation of the terminal ramp. The main ramp area is done. They're just working on some of the taxiway and other ramp crack sealing and some crack repair that should be completed by Thursday. So that's actually been working out very well. Commerce Park, just finalizing the RFP for engineering services for the water storage tank, and that'll be going out hopefully by the end of this week. All right, with those bids coming back October, and that way we can take a look at those and make a recommendation to committee. I have one request as far as resolution. Resolution requesting that Commissioner of Public Works award provide notice to proceed for Town and County Bridge and Rail in the amount of $156,973 to install new bridge rail and approach guide rail on 3 structures in the county. Those are budgeted in the 23 county budget, and we're utilizing the county highways. And we'll bid on this.
Second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
That's all I have for engineering.
I have a question. I'm looking further on when you get to the building. So I'm hearing a lot of distress with regard to 11 Warren, with regard to this 10. And I don't know whether that's really on your plate or not. Do you have any update or
So the
resolution to that?
well, we have not purchased the building as of yet. So any issues that the current tenants have
Is with their,
is with the
Yeah.
current landlord. And again, that's outside of the county's purview, outside of the county's
Mhm.
control at this time. And so we haven't moved forward as far as that's concerned, as far as that purchase. We're waiting for that closing date. My understanding is that the landlord has a month-to-month
right,
lease
that's
with
what I
them
heard, yeah.
with a 60-day clause as far as notice. My understanding is that they have provided official notice to the tenant
Right.
starting that 60-day clock. And as far as I know, we as the county, we don't have a closing date yet as far as that purchase.
Are we expecting the building to be vacant by the time of our closing or not?
We do know that Bard College would still be there to the end of the year. That was the only one.
Yeah, that was in the contract with CEDC, I
And that
think.
was the only one that was disclosed to us at the time that we were investigating and doing our due diligence as far as any lease. There was no mention of any other obligation to any other tenant.
Because they said everybody could be out in 30 days or
Correct,
something,
because
what
there
we
was-
were told. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what was in the contract.
I think this is gonna be an issue. Right?
But that's between Galvin and the tenant.
I think it's gonna end up on our plate. Right? Because it's not gonna be resolved.
Well, then we may not close on it, you know?
So, you know, is that what we're saying?
We don't know.
I don't know what the
Yeah,
business, I don't know. I mean, I'm not suggesting.
I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
what the contract said. So the contract said certain
Yeah.
things and that was done with CEDC, but we were assigning the contract. So I assumed that, and I don't know. And I know there's been conversations, but I don't know, but
I don't see the resolution.
I'm not sure. So I don't know what the problem is. I know that they met with your caucus and I don't understand any of that. I just heard that somebody was there and they wanted to know if they could extend it, but you know.
30 people in this room here.
Is that right? Yeah. So, but that would be strictly between the tenant right now.
So
and
there's
Galvin.
still, but there's still meetings for public comment, right?
Yes, there still will be.
Those are
Correct.
still down the road
That's
prior to the.
after
prior
we
to the closing.
purchase it
Oh,
and,
after the closing or before the closing?
right, no,
Oh,
after
after
we
the
close,
closing.
yeah.
Correct.
We were gonna get a consultant involved, which he does have a, you know, he did
Yeah,
do
so
an
my
RFP.
intent would be, my original intent as far as those public meetings
Mhm.
were to bring the consultant on board, have them meet with each one of the departments that were looking to move into that particular building, provide schematic documents. Once those schematic documents are presented to the county, we would anticipate to then have a public informational meeting as far as the intent and use of which departments are going to be there, how it is going to be structured and so forth. So the informational meeting did not have to do with the sale or purchase of the building. It was more towards the use
Who was gonna go in it?
as
yeah.
far as the architectural.
So are you suggesting then that the county,
I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm thinking that when I heard discussion of it the other day, I understood that the public comment would be prior to the.
I don't think that was
Maybe I'm,
clear.
anyway, I'm just wondering about.
But the
timing.
undisclosed tenant was month to month agreement with
Yeah, I think
the
they're
Right,
not
with
in a
Galvin.
strong
seller.
position at all.
No.
I want to go back fishing game for 1 second. So the closing, you think you'd be done with that at the end of the month of October? As far as you know, that's with the toll paving and everything like that. Being it's a county road, I know we volunteered our sign to be put up there for speed and stuff like that. Cause I already got the state police will be down on hand.
if you want to hope it snows early right after that?
No, do we have to go through you or do you go through Calaruso who needs a sign? How do you wanna work this out?
Oh, as far as those portables?
Yeah, portable speed
The
sign.
electronic signs?
Yeah,
Really, it's actually going through Chris as far as just coordinating that.
okay, so I'll have Louis stop down and see you. Yeah, work it out. That's
Yeah,
what
we've
I'm
done that
told.
with other municipalities as far as that goes.
Because I know there's gonna be a lot of speakers on that road.
Yeah, and I'll let both you and the highway superintendent know as we get a more definitive schedule
Okay.
when that final paving. Because again, as soon as that final paving comes down,
Oh, God, yes.
But that cold in place recycling, it'll last 10 days without that top coat?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, correct. Yeah, it's actually a curing period. It's required to last, we have to have a curing period of 10 days before that final, top coat is placed.
To let it aspirate.
I have a question. Has there been any stirring with CTAC?
I have not had any stirrings with these. I would anticipate that we will have something coming up. My understanding is that the bids came in for, the city of Hudson as far as that bridge. So based on those bids coming in, I would anticipate that there'll just probably be a status, meeting coming up.
Really heard anything from the last one.
Right.
We said, fix your infrastructure.
Right.
Future flat.
Correct. And I have not heard anything further from the state regarding the Fairview Water.
Another meeting to do for another one.
It's been a while. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, fair?
That's what we're talking about.
Well, it's good when, come on, you waiting for it.
The state has no money.
I can't begin to tell you what's been going on with that.
Did we finalize the location of that water tower, that potential water tower?
Still trying to coordinate and regarding the purchase.
And Ray, back to the Stuyvesant Falls Bridge, in your talks with them, are we talking to them about, doing temporary repairs so that we can get the weight limit lifted before Rossman Bridge?
Correct, yeah. And so I've submitted the paperwork for the culvert, that's taking place, the, culvert repair, and lining that's gonna be part of the, Bridge New York 22 program. So that paperwork has come in. I still don't have the paperwork on Rossman. And I
Okay.
want to see, I won't know what that time frame is, but I
Sure.
recognize
Yeah.
we do have to work on some very tight scheduling.
Right.
Because obviously we can't have those two bridges out at the same time. And
Right.
the fact
So
that
just-
Stuyvesant Falls has the bridge limit, or to my apologies, the weight limit on it already, the load limit.
Yeah.
So we have anticipated, and I did speak with the consultant about doing an additional amendment to their contract to design some structural repairs to allow that load limit to go back up to what it was prior to the recent flagging.
And I think I know the answer to this, but it was also brought up at one of my board meetings, is when you do Rossman Bridge, how will the people, travel on the Empire State Trail?
That will be part of a detour. We haven't figured out a detour.
Okay.
Right. We haven't figured out a detour as of yet, but obviously, yes, they will be impacted.
Yep. That's what I said. It's gonna be closed for a while, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, we haven't worked out the details as far as the detour.
But, okay.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks.
That's all I have. Thank you, Ray. We'll move on to solid waste. We saved the best for last, right? Dylan's limping, but she's here.
Projects that we're working on, we are wrapping up Greenport. The road striping has started. We'll be placing the new administrative office and scale house in. As Brian mentioned, all the smaller stations are getting a makeover. So hopefully by January, February, right? We might be there.
January, we're still.
We're still there.
The end of the year, we're
The end
actually
of the year.
targeting the end of the year.
So good things coming. Just a reminder that the garbage tags will no longer be in use after December 31st. And although most residents appear to be switching over, we're going to be sending reminders out to all the clerks, just to, because they're getting questions. Yeah. The next HHW event is going to be Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday, October 29th, between the hours of 8 and 12 noon. We have everything listed on our website, and we also have flyers at the stations for residents. Grants. We actually have a number of grants that are still pending up at New York State. The usual ones are HHW. I think we have 3 total, Wendy, that we're waiting for. We are also there, most of them are in the review stage, which is a good sign. Two of the larger ones are the grant for the recycling top load building and some of the equipment. That's a 50% match, and if everything is approved, that'll be roughly $585,000 that will be coming back to the county. The second grant is for the food digester and some equipment. That was up to a 70% reimbursement. So depending on the equipment that we submitted, that grant could be anywhere between $50,000 and $80,000. And then in addition, the 50% for the numerous household hazardous waste. So that's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
The HHW, when you say that the information's on the website, is there a flyer I could print off of the website? I just thought about handing that out at our trash day when we have that. We always have people ask, so I'll make some copies.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No resolutions from Jolene?
No.
All right. Anything else to be brought to Public Works? From the committee, from the audience? Nobody on the public. You can't do that anymore.
No.
If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So we'll second. Right, the second, all in favor?
Hi.